Hello and welcome to episode 40 of the Rugged Angel Cast. I'm your host Kahmeela, and thank you for joining me. If you have not done so already, please follow me on Twitter at the Rugged Angel. You can also check out my website, ruggedangel.com, for past episodes of the Rugged Angel Cast, as well as like Rugged Angel Productions on Facebook. Rugged Angel is one word. I'm going to get right to it because I am running late today. So, my guest today is Susan Wagner, and Susan Wagner is best known in Pittsburgh for her Roberto Clemente statues and all the other amazing baseball hero statues in PNC Park. But, you know, a lot of people just think that's all she does is bronze statues, but no, Susan has a wide array of artistic talents and abilities, including abstract paintings and portraits. And I suggest that you get in on this and check out more of Susan Wagner's work. I have been blessed to be friends with Susan for many years now, and she is just one of the kindest souls on this earth, and I am so happy for her. But do not, I repeat, do not take her kindness for weakness, because Susan has had to fight just about every step of the way on her artistic pathway, from growing up at a time where, you know, girls don't do that, and still to this day she still gets the whole, you know, well, girls don't do that about certain things and talents and skills that she has. And so, you know what, Susan makes sure to check every dude in her path that tries to tell her no, and anybody else for that matter. And she does what she does, and she does it well. So I want to get into my conversation with Susan Wagner, and hopefully you enjoy it. And a quilt may take a year, but if you just keep doing it, you get a quilt. Chuck Close. So, everybody, have a great week, and on with the show. Susan Wagner, welcome to the Rugged Angel podcast.
Hi.
I am so happy to have you here
Well,
today.
thank you for inviting me.
I'm very excited to talk and get to know you. I mean, we know each other pretty well, I would
Yeah.
say, and I think I've heard a lot of your stories, good and bad, but we're going to share them with the rest of the world, or
Okay.
with our listeners today.
Mostly the good, huh?
Yes, mostly the good, hopefully.
All
But
good.
you know, yes. How's your day going so far?
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad it's all rainy and stuff. It's been raining all day, and I don't know. I've just been sleepy because of the rain.
Really?
That just kind of makes me. Wah.
Yeah. I like the rain.
I like it
Yeah.
too if I don't have to go anywhere. Like if I'm
Yeah,
just at
true,
home, if I just
true.
hang out at home, and especially like your house that lends itself well to rain. I
Uh-huh.
think just because it's so big and so airy.
Yeah.
Like, and I would imagine like a rainy summer evening, like with the windows open
Oh,
in your
it's
place.
really
Oh my
nice.
god, that must be
It
amazing.
is.
It's
Yeah.
such a good time.
I like to stand on the front porch and during a thunderstorm.
Oh
I know
yeah.
you're not supposed to, but I do. Yeah.
Well, your house is just
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Does it have like any, like, is it legally a historic, like any sort of like
I don't
historic
think
site,
so.
or?
No.
I mean, it should be some sort of placement, because I mean, the time and energy that you have put into decorating and
Yeah.
designing the interior of that home, it's amazing, and
Oh,
you should
thank
you
you.
should host tours, like, seriously.
I should.
Yeah.
You know, I was on a couple house tours.
Yeah.
But then they got tired of my house, and now the new architects, you know, when they put, there's islands in the kitchen. That's
Yeah.
the big thing now.
I mean,
So
but there's no character. Like your
I
house
think
is
so.
like.
Every house is starting to look alike now, and it's
Mhm.
I like my house. It's unique.
Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
I mean each room has its own design,
I
which is its
know.
own color scheme, which is great. And
Somebody
it's just,
called it a color coordinated museum.
it is.
And I think mid-century modern. I love it. It
Mid-century
keeps
modern.
collecting more and more, and you ought to see it now.
Yes, we have
I
to come
just-
by
Oh,
and
please.
check it out again.
Yeah.
Um, so you grew up in Penn Hills. You said
Yeah.
it was really boring.
It was boring there. It was just the suburbs. There
Uh-huh.
was nothing there. And, I just kept wanting more. And finally, I was married and we were driving around and I saw the house I live in now.
Mhm. Oh wow.
And I walked in and I said, oh my God. And then I walked in the dining room. I said, "This is it. This is my home. This is our home." Haven't left since. I love
Oh my
living in the
goodness.
city.
So
Yeah.
you lived in you grew up in Penn Hills, and then you
Right.
got married, and you guys were still living in Penn Hills, and then
No, we were in Turtle Creek for
oh,
a
okay,
while. Little house,
okay,
and we were looking for a home.
hmm
And we were just driving around, and it was an open house. Walked in, I saw the stained glass, and I said, "Oh my God!" I couldn't believe it.
Didn't you
You
do a
know,
lot of rehabbing in that too?
yeah, it was 3 apartments,
Oh man.
and we did everything ourselves. Everything. I know how to lay ceramic tile, how to wire.
Mm.
I have plastered walls.
Oh my goodness.
I've done everything. Yeah. Well, soldering pipes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Uh huh. So
Was that, and I mean, is that something that was unusual to find a woman doing when
I
you were
guess
doing it, or
now I just went and did it.
yeah, it was
You
just
know, I just go and do things. I don't think, oh, a woman shouldn't do this, but
yep, right.
I don't care. It
No, that's
doesn't matter.
no, it
It's a
doesn't.
human being. And
Exactly.
that's it.
And you've always kind of had that attitude
I
about
guess so. When I look back, I
yeah.
must have.
So when did you start? When did you find your artistic self? When did you first realize that you were an artist?
I think since I was very tiny,
Mm-hmm.
going back to Penn Hills,
Mm.
they were building new houses there and bulldozing the topsoil away, and there was clay. That
Mm.
red clay we have in Pennsylvania and West Virginia.
Oh, really?
And
I
I would
don't think I've noticed that.
well, and it is there, but and I would dig some up and bring it home and play with it and make things out of it and dry
Really?
it in the sun.
Oh
Yeah.
man! And you
Yeah.
just didn't. You just knew what to do with that.
I
That was,
did. I did. I was making all kinds of different things, and then, and I'd paint and I'd draw on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember they were finishing the floors on. We lived in a little house. It was a story and a half,
Mm-hmm.
and they were finishing the half floor on the half floor, and they were varnishing the wood.
Uh,
And I took a pencil and I was doing designs in the varnish.
oh my God!
So everybody screamed at me, and I ran away. But I just had to draw all the time,
Mm.
all the time. Crayons, paper, anything I could lay my hands on.
Were you an only child?
No,
Mm.
middle
Middle.
child,
Where you have a brother, sister? What?
younger brother, older sister.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Wait, was there? Did you kind of fall into whatever that middle child syndrome
I think,
is?
look, yes, I was non-existent.
Oh.
How middle children are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just kind of
and,
slide in and out of.
Yeah, yeah. So I was used to being on my own and by myself a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So of course I would draw,
Oh.
and I would get clay, and I would get Play-Doh, and I would just do all of that. So it's funny how when you're like what we were just talking about,
Mm-hmm.
when you're a child, you kind of fall into that
Yeah.
later on in life because it's so natural for you.
That's
So I think that's what. I think that's what happened. I don't know.
So did you go to art school officially?
I did because I took art courses during the summer since I was in grade school,
Okay.
and because I know now I have dyslexia with numbers.
Really?
Yes, and I couldn't do math,
Huh.
but I excelled in everything else. So
Mhm.
they never knew what to do with me, and they couldn't categorize me. Either you were a secretary or you were going to be a teacher.
This is in high
This is
school
in
or in
high school.
college? In high school.
High school. And my
Either
parents
a
were told,
secretary or a teacher.
yes, because I wasn't college material because I couldn't do math.
Oh.
But my SAT scores in the English, the verbal
Mhm.
skills, off the charts. And then in the math skills, I was like third grade level.
Oh wow.
I said, what is going on? You cannot go to college. You're not college material. So I ended up going to art school. I hated it, okay, because, well, you take these magic markers and you take, you have to know how to do fashion. I said, I don't want to know. I want to know how to paint. I want to know how to sculpt. I want real lessons with this.
So they wanted to teach you how to design clothes or how to
Yes.
really.
Yes.
Wow, what a different time.
It was very, very. Uh huh. And I got kicked out of art school because I was so bored. I didn't want to go.
What art school did you go to?
Ivy School of Art.
Where's that?
That used to be in town
Okay.
until the owner took all the money and ran, and then it just went away.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know, art schools, they just don't get a fair. They seem to give themselves a bad name or something because the Art
Well,
Institute right now is.
is it?
Yeah, they've been shutting some down because and people like class action lawsuits and all sorts of
Really?
stuff. Yeah.
Well, I think, I think a lot of them just want money. So anyhow, I did end up graduating from Ivy School of Art because they talked to my parents.
So wait,
So-
so you got kicked out and then
Yes.
they let you back
They
in?
let me back in
Okay.
because they didn't know what to do with me. So I ended up being a waitress for
Oh.
about, I say a good 5 years.
Really?
Because I couldn't do anything.
Huh.
Okay. So then I waited on this guy from University of Pittsburgh.
Mm.
Gave him lunch, and he said, we have a job opening as a clerk
Mm.
at General Studies. And I took it because I had heard that family members can go to college for practically free if you work there.
Hmm.
So I went there. I got the job
Mm.
as a clerk,
Mm.
and I found out it doesn't work with your siblings. It works with your children or your spouse.
Oh, so you were thinking of
Helping
younger.
my brother.
Oh.
And so anyhow, I'm there, and I'm thinking, well, I could take a course.
Mm.
So I took English, and I aced it, of
Mhm.
course, because that was what I was confident
That was your
in.
that was your strong suit. What-
Writing and
Mhm.
yeah. And so after about a year of taking a course here and there, I had all A's,
Mhm.
and I was invited into the National Honor Society, whatever. And I thought it was a mistake because I'm not smart, so I threw it away. So the next year, I took more and more courses. I branched out. I took anthropology. I took French. Kept acing everything. And then by the next year, I took art, of course. And by the next year, I was invited again into the National Honor Society. I said, this is for real.
Mhm.
I think I am smart. So it took me 5 years, but I got a degree.
Mhm.
Double major in art, studio arts, of course, and anthropology.
Wow.
And I graduated with honors. I'm very proud of that.
Wonderful, as you
And I
should be.
Didn't have to take one math course.
Oh.
Did not have to.
Wow.
Yes.
Really?
Right. But see, the guidance counselor said a little fib because,
Yeah.
whatever. But anyhow, I took, because I had no language in high school,
Mhm.
because I wasn't smart, I had to take it in college. So I took a year of French,
Mhm.
aced that too.
Yeah.
So I must be smart.
Yeah.
So when I graduated, I couldn't decide whether to go on anthropological digs
Mhm.
or be an artist. I couldn't decide.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and then I got married. Oh, I was the second one to win a teaching fellowship, the Chancellor's Teaching Fellowship Award
Oh.
in the University of Pittsburgh. Second one in the history of the art department.
Really?
Yes, because I was going to go on to become a professor.
Okay.
I was thinking of that too.
Mhm.
Teach art. So I got married.
Mhm.
Didn't end up in graduate school. Looking for a job when the steel mills shut down here in Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
You couldn't find a job anywhere. The city was done,
Wow.
and I ended up being a waitress again.
Mhm.
I thought, I worked so hard, and
Right.
here I am being a waitress again. But I kept on going on interviews for graphic artists,
Mhm.
in a studio, like advertising,
Okay.
because I kind of knew that.
Mhm.
And nobody was hiring because they were laying off because there was nothing.
Man.
And I thought, well,
But what year was this?
This was 82, 83.
Okay.
And I thought, well, I I am not should not be an artist. I'm going to be a waitress the rest of my life.
Just because the artist
I
didn't seem
could
like
I
a
could
steady paying
no, I
gig.
couldn't find a job. Took a year.
Mm.
Finally, and I dragged this big portfolio. I used to have these big portfolio.
Yeah.
I dragged that around. It was as big as me. And I went on this. I thought I'm going to go on this last interview. So it was in Monroeville, some graphic studio, and I interviewed with this guy, and he ripped me to shreds, just ripped me to shreds. And I took my portfolio. I was in tears, and it takes a lot to make me cry. Okay,
Mhm.
in tears, waiting for the elevator. And this guy comes around the corner and says, "Did you interview with so and so?" I said, "Yeah," and he's a bastard. Let me see what you have.
Yeah.
So I said, "Okay." I thought, okay, all right. So I had one slide of a sculpture that I did. And he says, the guy says, "You're a really good artist. You're one hell of a sculptor." I said, "Really?" I didn't think, I didn't think I took a sculpture class at Pitt.
Mhm.
And at that time, I won an award.
Mm.
Okay, I just took one class, and I won an award. And then the professor said, "You're so good, I want you to be my apprentice."
Oh.
I said, "Great." He said, "Don't tell anybody." Okay.
Okay.
So what he really wanted was for me to model for him.
Oh.
Okay.
Mhm.
I thought, well, this is a sham.
Right.
I didn't believe the award.
Mm.
Okay. So anyhow, I hear from this stranger, "Yes, you're one hell of a sculptor. Call so and so." I said, "Okay." So I went home and I called this guy,
Mm.
and he said, "Do you know how to do a bas relief?" And I said, "Oh yeah,
What's that?
it's a flat portrait,
Okay.
flat like on the side of a coin."
Okay.
I'd never done that before. I said, "Yes, of course I can." So he gave me this huge, huge picture. It was this big. It was about 2 foot high of two portraits.
Mhm.
And he says, "Do this." I said, "Okay." So every night when I was done waitressing,
Uh-huh.
I'd go upstairs and sculpt this bas relief.
Mm.
And it took me a week.
Oh.
And it must have been 2 foot by 3 foot. And I was really, I brought it back to this guy, and I was really scared that it took me so long.
Mm.
And he looked at it, and he says, "You aced that. How'd you do it so fast?"
Oh.
And I said, "Thank you. Do you have more work?"
Uh-huh.
So that's how that started.
Oh.
And word of my dependability and my speed
Mhm.
got around. Before I knew it, I was working with different companies in the tri-state area.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So within a couple years, I had my own business.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I was sculpting. I worked for Fenton Glass.
Mhm.
I did all kinds of things. They're happy.
Professor, no.
Their little tails.
I know.
Look at that.
I'm so excited.
Hey, come on. So anyhow, yeah. So I own my own business.
And this is in the
yeah.
80s.
This was in the 80s,
Mhm.
and yeah.
And were you finding it difficult as a woman in art? Were there difficulties outside
yes.
of,
Though I didn't pay attention to them, but looking back, I kept hearing, "You better not get pregnant."
Oh God.
Yes. And then there would be a lot of sexist things too,
Mhm.
but you had to take that in stride.
Mhm.
Even though we had Gloria Steinem,
Mhm.
this is a small town, okay?
Right.
And I needed that job,
Yeah.
so I put up with a whole lot of crap.
Yeah. I mean, still to
A
this
whole lot.
day, it's still.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, it still happens.
Don't
right?
get me started. It's
Right.
still to this. Yes. Mm-hmm.
But it's wonderful. I mean, you had all of these institutions telling you that you weren't quote unquote smart, or
Right.
that you weren't quote unquote good enough, but you managed
Right.
to still, you went on and you did it, and that's
Yeah.
something in itself to be amazingly proud of. You proved them all
Thank
wrong.
you. I couldn't be a waitress the rest of my life.
No.
I thought I can't do this. I can't end up like this.
Right. Especially, I mean,
Yeah.
because you're
Yeah.
you're such a talent,
Thank you.
and it would have been a shame. You would have deprived the world
Oh,
of your amazing artwork.
oh,
So
that's so kind of you.
it's the
Oh.
truth. I speak the truth, Susan.
Oh,
So you kind of, it sounds like that sculpting wasn't really your main interest when you started doing your artistry, but that's the thing that you're most known for.
right. I know. Who'd have thought? And I didn't have any experience with it, and all of a sudden I own my own business.
Mm.
But I do paint, and people don't know that.
Right.
And that's what I really majored in college.
Okay.
So people, and I do abstract. I do all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done abstract sculpture.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't know this. They just think I sculpt baseball players.
Right, because that's what I mean. I guess that's what you're most famous for here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they're
are
big.
Yeah, they're ginormous, and they're outside the PNC Park, and also the Roberto Clemente
Yeah.
busts. So how did you even? How did that happen? How did you? Because I don't think that you're like a super baseball fan.
Nope.
So how did that
Oh,
that
this is
come
a
about?
great story. I
Okay.
love this story. Okay. This is how this happened.
Okay.
I was freelancing for this company that did the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown.
Okay.
And they were going to pull out of this company because they were so unhappy with the art.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, give this new girl a try. So they gave it to me,
Mm-hmm.
the portraits for the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
So I had 4 of them to do. I knew it was important. I knew that they were going to pull out of this company, casting it if they didn't like what I did. So aced it.
Mm.
And Bill Guilfoyle.
That's your new nickname, Ace.
Bill Guilfoyle, who was head of the Baseball Hall of Fame, came down to Pittsburgh. We got along great. He kept asking for me year after year.
Mm.
One year, and I saw they were refinishing all the Baseball Hall of Fame plaques. And I saw the one of Roberto Clemente, and I thought, that's awful.
Mm.
I wish I could sculpt him. He's just beautiful.
Mm.
Oh, I forgot. I have to back up a minute.
Okay.
When I was in college, one of the ways I paid my way was to draw portraits
Okay.
for the school newspaper.
Oh.
So I drew this guy with a baseball. No, he didn't have a baseball cap on.
Mm.
And I didn't know who he was. Okay?
Okay.
Didn't know. I'm drawing him, and I thought, wow, is he good? Oh, he's handsome. Look at his eyes. They're beautiful. And I'm drawing him, and I had to read the article. It was about how he lost his life helping people in Nicaragua.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I love this man. I fell in love with him right then and there.
Wow.
So a couple years later, I'm seeing this plaque from Cooperstown
Mm-hmm.
of Roberto Clemente. I thought, that's awful. I wish I could sculpt him.
Mm.
So I had done one sculpture. I did the Gulf War Memorial.
Mm.
I designed the male and female soldiers.
Oh, okay.
Yes. This was in 1990,
Mm.
with a woman in the strength position. She's standing. The male soldier is kneeling.
Mm.
They're in mourning. Remember the Scud missile attack
Mm-hmm.
in the Gulf War?
Mm-hmm.
For the 14th quartermaster, 13 were killed,
Oh.
men and women.
Mm-hmm.
And so, to honor them, I called them up and I said, because I was tired of doing bas reliefs, I wanted to do full round.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I could do it. I never did it before,
Oh.
but I knew I could do it. So I called them and I said, I have an idea for if you're going to honor these people, I have an idea. So I made the woman with the strength position, and she's got her shoulder on her hand on the man's shoulder.
Mm.
So I thought, it was very solemn, but it shows the strength of a woman.
Yeah. Where's
Yes.
this sculpture?
Greensburg.
Oh, okay.
I did it in 1990.
Wow.
So anyhow, Bill Guilfoyle, knew about this. He said, Susan, the Pittsburgh Pirates are thinking of sculpting or having a sculpture of Roberto Clemente. Why don't you try? I said, oh, okay.
Finally.
Who do I call? Okay, so I was so excited. I called this one guy. He said, oh, we're having a competition. I said, oh, I didn't think I'd ever get it. You know, the people from New York, people from Puerto Rico, they're never going to, you know, I'm not going to get this. But I was so in love with him, and I knew I could do a good job. I knew it. So I entered the competition, and it's okay. It's okay. That's Professor. So I entered the competition. It was a blind competition in that nobody knew who. We sculpted a small maquette, which is a small version. No names, no price, nothing.
Okay.
And that's called a blind competition.
Okay.
So I got a call. You know, at this time my mother was dying.
Oh.
Okay. And I was the main person that the doctors went to.
Oh, man.
My father couldn't handle it. No siblings around. It was me. I was entering this Roberto competition at the same time.
Wow.
I know. Everything happens all at once, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I remember I did a lot of research in between going to the hospital and still working my full-time, my own business. I'm doing research, came up with an idea. I came up with 2 ideas. And I took photographs, you know, I entered everything. And I remember the one secretary said, you don't have your resume in here. You don't care much about this, do you? I said, yes, I do. Let me go back and get it. You know, all this on my mind.
Right.
So anyhow, long story short, I find out about a couple months later, I get a phone call from the Pirates. And they said, we have good news and bad news. And I said, well, all right, what? Tell me the bad news first. Well, you're going to be really busy. And I said, why? I was clueless. You got it.
Oh.
I screamed. I screamed for half a day.
Oh, my goodness.
Screaming. And I thought, I have to tell my mother.
Oh.
She had passed away.
Oh.
And that, you know, it was that kind of a thing.
Oh, my goodness.
And it happens in life,
Yeah.
you know. Always the good and the bad. So anyhow, I go in to meet everybody in the big conference in the Pirates. I found out it was a unanimous decision.
Oh.
The Clementes, everybody went to mine. So I went in to the big conference table.
That's a confidence booster.
Huh? Yeah. And I went in to the big conference room. I walk in, and everybody went back. They were shocked at a 5'2" girl.
Yeah.
I'm saying that sort walks in.
Yeah.
So they all said, well, do you mind if we keep an eye on you?
What?
I said, not at all, because I was confident. I knew I could do it. And they said, well, I thought it was going to be a life-size statue. I didn't know what an all-star game was. I thought it was just a bunch of really old men playing. And I thought, well, a couple hundred people are going to be there, because I didn't know.
Right.
And I didn't know how famous Roberto was either. Mind you, I didn't know anything about baseball.
Right.
So they said, well, we want it to be 12 foot high. And my legs started shaking under the table. I said, can you do that? I said, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Always.
Yes. You know, we'll keep an eye on you. Okay. You know, I was confident. I knew you have, and when you say yes, you have to know you can follow through.
Yes.
Because I've had people say yes to me when they can't follow through.
Right.
And it's a huge disappointment. So anyhow, before I started sculpting it, the large version, reporters came to my house. I started getting how famous he was.
Wow.
People were calling me, crying, telling me beautiful stories about Roberto. You better do this right.
Oh, my goodness.
I was terrified.
Yeah, no pressure.
But I was terrified. I did find out what an all-star game was. I found that it would be televised internationally, this unveiling. And I thought, if I don't do this right, nobody's going to let me back into Pittsburgh.
No.
I'm doing a 12-foot sculpture. Never, no clue what to do. I remember the head is like 2 foot, 3 foot
God.
high, and I'm up there on scaffolding sculpting the face,
Oh my
and
God.
I'm thinking, oh, this is turning out great.
Mm-hmm.
So I get back off the scaffolding. I go back about 30 feet. The face is about 6 inches high
Oh my
on this
goodness.
2-foot head. And I thought, oh my God,
So
can't
you
do
are
this.
you're actually sculpting like this ginormous.
Yeah. I did. It took, yeah.
Wow.
And I was petrified. The first 3 days, I couldn't. I would open my mouth and the words would come out. That's how terrified I was. Terrified. And I remember I just started sculpting the foot.
Mm-hmm.
And it started looking like a foot. And I said,
Uh-huh.
okay.
Yeah.
I just kept taking it day by day, hour by hour. I didn't know. After a couple weeks, I realized it was going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I started crying
No.
because I was so relieved, that it was looking like a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to really work on, and like Roberto, his face is so unique, because his nose is one way front,
Mm-hmm.
and then you look at it sideways, it's another shape.
Huh.
So I had a difficult time sculpting his nose,
Huh.
believe it or not. And I don't know, after it was all done, the Clementes came to see it,
Mm-hmm.
to give their approval, and the pirates,
Uh-huh.
the pirate officials. And I remember standing there and watching the Clementes walk in, and I watched their faces
Uh-huh.
to see if I did the
Did them proud.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell by the look on their faces they liked it. They were smiling.
Oh, and you're still like really good friends with that family to
Yes,
this day.
yeah,
aren't you?
they're very nice people. Yeah, very nice.
How do you do the? I mean, I'm just like, how do you sculpt a sculpture that large and keep? And this is very, probably very elementary question,
That's
but I don't know anything about sculpting.
that's okay.
But like, how to keep the clay from hardening and everything before
good question.
before it's
That's a good
time?
question. Okay, it's an oil-based clay and
Okay.
never hardens.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
because I always
So-
kind of wondered.
I can make mistake after mistake,
Oh.
and I can correct it and correct it. It's okay.
How long did it take you to do?
To sculpt Roberto,
12-foot.
it took a couple months,
Mm-hmm.
and and then when I did Willie Stargell,
Mm-hmm.
it took 6 days.
What?
Yeah.
6 days?
Yes, because owning your own business,
Uh-huh.
I sculpted morning, noon, and night,
Mm.
7 days a week, and I had to be fast. So I learned how to be fast,
Wow.
and I had my sea legs by that time. I'd done a sculpture at the zoo. The little boy, little girl, and sea lion.
Oh, really?
Yes, see
I
it,
didn't
people.
know that.
I do all kinds of things.
I didn't know. Well, to be fair, like I've been to the zoo like twice
Well,
here in
that's okay.
Pittsburgh.
but yeah, I sculpted that, and a lot of life-size pieces.
Mm. Just
That,
kinda floating
so
around.
I know, I knew how to handle the clay. I knew where to go, what to do. You have to have a good team around you.
Mm-hmm.
Upstate New York Talix
Mm-hmm.
is my preferred foundry,
Okay.
and they're great. They cater to the artist
Mm-hmm.
in that, if you need a scaffolding, it's right there. If you need the oil-based clay warmed,
Mm-hmm.
it's right there. They know exactly what to do.
Mm.
So it takes a good team.
How
Yeah.
many sculptures do you have floating around here in Pittsburgh area?
Public monuments
Yeah.
around Pittsburgh, I think only. I don't know, it's a good question.
Because
I don't know.
I think there should be
maybe-
some sort of like
maybe-
Susan Wagner like tour.
Nah.
Maybe nah. I think we
I
should
don't know, I
like a
think
little scavenger hunt.
the policeman and the canine.
Mm-hmm.
I did. Policeman I did in my living room,
Yeah.
and the zoo I sculpted in my living room too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the little girl is my godchild.
Oh.
She's grown up, and that's a good story with that one.
Okay.
They wanted an animal and a child,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, how about 2 children? And I said it because I wanted my godchild is African American,
Okay.
and I said there are no statues here in Pittsburgh for just the beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an athlete, okay,
Mm-hmm.
really Stargell is great,
Yeah.
but nothing, just a child's beauty,
Yeah.
okay. So the people, the zoo said, well, you just want more money. I said, no, I'll prove it to you. I will use my commission money to pay the foundry to cast this.
Mm-hmm.
So I made no money from that.
Oh, wow.
But what I did was, it's the first African American sculpture for no other reason than beauty.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, here in Pittsburgh. A lot of people don't know the story behind that.
Mm.
And I've heard people say, she doesn't do anything but baseball players. Well, and she doesn't do anything innovative. Well, I made a big statement with that.
All right.
You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also made a big statement with the Gulf War Memorial.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Roberto Clemente pose, I innovated the way people sculpt baseball players around the country.
Right.
You
They're
know,
in motion.
It's in motion. That's what I do. I make.
It's like your sculptures are moving. They're
Yes.
and which is and one of the ones, and I don't know where it is today, and it's a smaller one, but it speaks to me. When we were staying with you for a little while,
Oh,
you were
yeah.
working on the dancers.
Yes, I still
And,
have it.
I love that one because
I'd love to have that life size.
yeah, because that is absolutely
Wiley
beautiful.
Avenue.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be perfect?
Yeah, and it's just,
Yeah.
and what are they doing? Is it a jitterbug? Or,
Jitterbug.
Yeah, and it's just,
Yes.
I mean, it's just amazing, just the way.
Thank you.
If you just look at it long enough, they look like they're just dancing.
Thank
It's
you.
just.
That's a huge compliment. I love
That's what I think of
Yeah.
when I think about your sculptures.
movement.
Me personally.
Aw, the jitterbug dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I love to dance.
Yes,
I-
you do.
And that made me sculpt them, because they had this. I saw the photograph, the perfect pose.
Mm-hmm.
A dancer could not hold that for me.
Right.
So I said,
Yeah.
and I thought, I got to sculpt this. It just struck me.
Mhm.
And thank you.
So yes, you are absolutely very innovative when you've made your statements with just a African American child just for the sake of beauty, not because of
Not
for
an
civil
athlete.
rights or anything like that.
And at that time, there was a Stephen Foster
Mm.
sculpture here in Pittsburgh. I think they took it down. There was a slave at his feet.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah. I thought, no. This has got to change.
you've got a strong woman,
That's right.
and it's just yeah. So it's time to get that around that Susan Wagner is so much more than just the baseball sculpture. Even though, I mean, mind you, that was quite an amazing story of the fact that your very first 12-foot
Yeah.
sculpture
Yes.
that you made
I know.
has become that is your infamy. Like that is what you're most famous
Couldn't
for.
believe- I know. And what better
Right.
guy than Roberto?
Right. And someone you
know,
had
fell
fallen in love with from
Yes.
just etching his picture
Yes.
years
and
before.
I didn't know. And I found out from people. I've been to Puerto Rico a couple times.
Mhm.
And I found out that the Puerto Ricans call my statue here in Pittsburgh their Statue of Liberty.
Oh,
Which I love that.
that is absolutely heartwarming.
Yes.
That's
And-
wonderful.
And they sent sports writers for the paper to interview me
Mm-hmm.
when it got out that a girl, I'm saying it in quotes,
Right.
was going to sculpt this. And well, did you ever see a baseball game? No.
Yeah.
Well, honey, how are you going to do this? It's research.
It's a little thing called books,
Research.
old
And-
films and whatnot.
Yeah, and somebody said, "How did you do that? You're a girl. How did you get that right?"
Wow.
So that's going to be the title of my book. But you're a girl.
But you're a girl.
I have a funny story to tell you.
Okay.
Okay. I was Pittsburgh's like Mayberry sometimes.
Yeah,
okay?
sometimes.
And I've lived in Bloomfield for 35 years,
Mm.
and I'm friends with the tellers,
Yeah.
and they know what I do because of when I get paid,
Right.
either from one baseball organization or like the police or something.
Right.
So anyhow, they
So
know
it's
me.
very interesting payees.
Yeah. When they come.
Mm.
But, they said, Susan, why don't you bring in a small bronze so we could see?
Mm.
So I brought in a small bronze just to show them, and the teller said to the guy beside me or behind me, said, this is the lady that did the Roberto Clemente. And the man said, no, it isn't. I know the real story.
Oh, God. Okay, this will be
He said,
fun.
he said, do you know so-and-so from Highmark? I said, no. Do you know so-and-so from this place? No. You're bullshitting me. I know the real story. The pirates brought in a man from England to sculpt him.
Oh, my God.
He says, I don't believe. He was getting angrier and angrier, thinking we were teasing him. And the teller, his jaw is on the floor. No, that's really the person. That's really the person. No, you just keep saying that, lady. And he stomped out. He got angry. He thought we were teasing him. And I said, I will. I will keep saying it.
Wow. That's...
Yeah, it's going to be in my book.
Yeah, so when's that coming out?
I don't know.
Speaking of books, I know you wrote a children's book.
I did.
Cattails.
I did.
Yeah.
I sold 3.
Well, I thought it was cute. So where are you selling
you.
them? Where were you selling them?
Online.
Yeah.
They were selling online. Honestly, I think 7 sold. But, I have interesting stories of all the cats in my life. And I was relating this one story, and somebody says, you ought to write that down.
Mm.
So I did, and that's how the book started. And I illustrated it, too.
Do you think you want to do another one? Another children's book? Like, I know you need to write your memoirs, your autobiography.
I guess I do.
But would you want to illustrate and write more children's books?
I don't know. I don't know. I think you have to be in a certain frame of mind.
Yeah, sure. I think for most art, you just have to be in the right place at the right time for that. So what do you like to paint?
I don't care what it is as long as there's color.
Mm-hmm.
I love color, bright color, and staring at brown clay all the time is. I need splashes of color. And my style is almost like a faubism.
Mm-hmm.
So bright. Sometimes, I just splash around. You have one.
Yes, I love it. Do you find it? Does that make it difficult for you to? Do you prefer painting to sculpting because of that? Because there's more color involved, and as opposed to, or is it just like?
No.
Do you see the sculptures? Because I know you mostly do people. Do you see the color in their personalities that you're putting?
Oh, that's a good question. Do I see their what I do when I sculpt is I guess I see who they are, feel who they are, and translate that into a sculpture. But when I paint, it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. I love both.
Okay.
I don't have a favorite.
Yep.
I just
Totally
love it
fair.
all.
You can love it all.
Yeah.
That's totally fair. What is the legacy that you would like to leave behind?
I don't know. That's a great question. A legacy. I need to sculpt a whole lot more.
Mm-hmm.
I have a whole lot more to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a whole lot left in me. A whole lot. I get frustrated. I haven't said 9/10 of what I want to say.
Oh.
And the problem is, I sculpt large. I come alive when it's large.
Yeah.
A small piece.
It can't contain you.
Right. So I have so much to say. I don't get the opportunity, as much opportunity as I would like. My Holocaust memorial, the maquette.
I don't think I'm familiar with that.
I have something to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to. I see that life size.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the opportunity to um, have it anywhere because it costs a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe with the new technology, it could be less expensive. I don't know.
Right.
I want to open people's minds. I
Mm.
want my Holocaust piece is designed that people can walk inside,
Mm.
and it's surrounded by a replica of the electrified fence,
Mm-hmm.
and that will be life size, which is 9 foot.
Wow.
And there's an artist barbed wire you can get that is not harmful to people. You know,
Mm.
it's safe, but it looks like barbed wire.
Right.
And I want people to maybe experience going inside that.
Wow.
Say, this could be me.
Yeah.
You know, this is how it feels to look out of a barbed wire fence. I'm enclosed by this fence.
Yeah. Wow.
Might open somebody's mind. You know, maybe I should look at that person a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just one part of what I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's so much. Um, but it's so expensive to sculpt large. I have to wait for the opportunity.
Right.
And I can sculpt anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid of anything,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because I jumped right into the ocean,
Mm-hmm.
you know, doing Roberto.
Right.
So large, it's like not knowing how to swim. Somebody takes you in the middle of the ocean and say, okay, swim to shore. And I did. So nothing scares me, you know.
Not only did you swim to shore, you managed to fashion a raft from found objects and get over to
I did.
shore.
Yeah. So, you know, okay, I don't know. There's just so much. My mind is getting.
That's fine. How do you take care of Susan? How do you take care of yourself?
How do I take care of me?
Mm-hmm. How do you make sure that you're okay? Like when things get to be a little crazy, how do you breathe?
How do I breathe? Good question. Well, I'm finding Buddhism is helping me a lot.
Mm.
I've turned the past several years. I've turned to Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been very spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
and that's helping me quite a bit. I try to eat good food.
Mm-hmm.
I cook from scratch because that's your first defense.
Yes.
You know, that, and I love science fiction.
Ah.
If get me in front of a good science fiction movie, I'm happy. You know, not gore,
Right.
not goth, but good, intelligent science
Like
fiction.
X-Files? Did you?
Sometimes. Sometimes. Yeah, like a good, like The Day the Earth Stood Still, the original
Yeah.
with Michael Rennie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so relevant today.
Mm-hmm.
That speaks to me. You know, things like that. I'm very happy. Oh, and I'm hooked on Bones.
Oh, yes.
That's my new vice, Bones. I have to watch Bones every day.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's I like that show.
I love it. You know.
Yeah, we were watching that for a while, like
Yeah.
binge watch it back to back. And you know, David Boreanaz is always very not too hard on the eyes.
Oh yeah, very much so.
All right, so we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna come back, and I'm gonna ask you a bunch of random questions.
Okay.
All right, random questions.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm ready.
All right. What album can you listen to from beginning to end?
Okay. Anything doo-wop.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, Rhapsody in Blue
Oh,
by George Gershwin.
nice.
Yes, I cry every time I listen to it.
Oh.
Yes.
What is your favorite color?
Chrome.
Are you usually late, early, or right on time?
I am on time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Favorite pizza topping?
Pepperoni and onions.
Ooh. Favorite word?
Favorite word. Oh, too many. Favorite word. I don't know. I don't want to sound corny.
That's okay.
I don't know. I have too many.
Okay.
Too many to
Okay.
choose.
Too
Okay.
many. Do you still own any cassette tapes?
I think I do.
What was your
Boys to men.
nice? Awesome. What was your first job?
Working in a bakery.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Did you? Oh man, that must have been fun.
it was. I lasted 2 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you didn't get to come home smelling like baked goods too
No,
often.
no, it was like, nah. Too much flour, I guess.
Do you like to bake?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I make my own pie crust
Ooh,
out of scratch.
nice.
Yes.
Last book you read?
I'm reading right now Cloud Atlas.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, is that what the movie was based off of?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh. I love the movie.
Yeah.
And so I have to read the book. So. Yeah.
And is the book standing up to your?
Yes. It's a good thing I saw the movie before I read the book.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it help in keeping everything straight?
Yes, and it's also given me a lot of visuals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you
what?
do you prefer to read watch the movie and then read the book?
No, it just happened that way.
Okay.
You know. Yeah.
Your favorite song to sing?
I don't know. I my favorite song of all time, rock and roll, is Layla
Oh, nice.
by Eric Clapton. I heard it on the radio,
Uh-huh.
and the other night I was coming home and I shut all the windows and I blasted the radio, and I'm singing along with Layla. You know, Layla, Layla.
I love that. That's my favorite
It's
thing.
one of the best songs.
It's one of my favorite things to do is like to scream
Yeah.
just sing at the top of my lungs and the windows
have
up.
to be shut.
Yes, windows up. Absolutely.
I have a terrible voice.
Would you survive a zombie apocalypse?
No. I wouldn't. I'm a big chicken. No. I would be one of the first to go.
Celebrity you would love to have dinner with?
Bruce Willis.
Ooh.
Yes, I have a crush on him. Okay. And if you're in Pittsburgh, Bruce, you're welcome. Come to my house. I'll make you a homemade dinner.
Oh, you can't say no to that, Bruce. Do you know any jokes?
No. I love jokes, but I'm bad at that too. I'm
Okay.
bad at telling them.
What makes you bored?
Bored. Gossip.
Mm.
I can't stand it. It's boring.
Yeah.
Think of something better to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. What is it? The boring people talk about
Other people.
other people and like or something.
I know. I have it written down.
Yeah.
And I know. And yeah, we
It's
know.
like, yeah. Talk about people or do you talk about doing
Yes.
doing things?
Uh-huh.
What is your favorite part of the human face and why?
The eyes.
Why?
Well, they are a window into the soul.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's mine too. Actually.
Yes. I always watch people's eyes when they talk.
Favorite cartoon?
I don't know. I like Tim Burton's.
Oh, yeah?
things. Yeah.
Okay.
Very creative. I love.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
why
yeah.
why you'd be drawn to those.
Yeah.
Can you do any accents?
Yes. In private.
Well, which ones?
I don't know. I'm pretty good at that.
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh.
Any kind.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you drive a stick?
No.
Do you remember your dreams?
Yes.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, definitely. All the time.
Last movie you saw in the theater?
Last movie. God, I don't remember it, and I go to the movies a lot.
Do you?
Well, maybe about once a month.
Oh, okay.
The animated movie that was in Squirrel Hill, I forget the name, Anomalia.
Oh, okay.
I saw that.
Oh,
it was
okay.
beautiful.
Oh, wow.
And then I saw a couple after that. I can't remember, so that tells you something.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Teleportation. I just want to beam over,
Yes.
beam over your house. Okay, here I am. Yeah.
Michael Jackson or Prince?
Michael Jackson.
You never get tired of blank.
Never get tired of. Okay, again, too many.
Too many.
Narrow it down for me.
Um, well, let's say food.
Food?
Yeah.
Okay. Never get tired of all kinds. Pizza.
Pizza.
Vincent's Pizza.
Vincent's
Love.
Pizza.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vincent's Pizza. I love it.
If I gave you a plane ticket to anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Paris.
Describe yourself in one word.
Nice. I'm a nice person.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, thank you.
And that is our time. That's your
Oh.
that's your show.
That was too fast.
That's it. That's
Too
too
quick.
fast. Too fast.
Thank you, Kahmeela.
We had a solid hour, Susan.
We did.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Kahmeela. That was the best interview I've ever had.
Oh, was it? Well,
Yes.
thank you. I am
Thank
happy
you.
that you enjoyed yourself
I
because
did.
I enjoyed
I'm
myself.
having fun.
Where can people find stuff about you online? Was your website or?
I have a website, classic-sculpture.com.
Okay, and you don't do Twitter or Instagram.
I don't. I'm technically challenged. I can't. I get very confused.
All right,
I
so
know.
guys, make sure to go to Susan's website and check out all her stuff and try to get some sort of Susan Wagner sculpture hunt going in Pittsburgh or anywhere else. Like I know you have like all over the place, even
do.
in the Vatican.
Yes, I do.
So there is also a list of where all of your
There's
sculptures
a list.
are.
It's not up to date. It's not current.
Mm.
You know, I sculpted Jackie Robinson.
Oh wow.
See, here's the thing. I'm sculpting these great people.
Mm-hmm.
They're like they're not just baseball players. They're these great people.
Right, they
and
have a
I
story.
get to sculpt them.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
that's amazing.
I
It's
think
quite
so.
an honor.
I know.
And I think on both ends, for them to be
Aw.
sculpted by you and
I
for you
think
to be
maybe sometimes they look down on me, and
well, you know what?
no, not
Those
no,
they're
no,
they're
from
full.
heaven.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean,
Thank you.
They're watching
Okay.
me. I said that wrong. They're watching over me.
Yes.
You know, I think that sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe it. That
I do too.
they are helping to guide your hands.
I think they are. I asked for a lot of help.
Mm.
I was scared.
And as always, guys, you can find me at RuggedAngel.com and on Twitter at @the_RuggedAngel. Listen to the show on iTunes, SoundCloud, as well as WMCK.FM. Remember, whatever you do, do it with passion or not at all.
Yes.